Welcome, viewers, to the Broward County Bar Association's Meet Our Sponsors. In this episode, we'll be speaking with Rick Ellsley of the Ellsley Law Firm. Welcome, Rick, and thank you for taking the time to log in and chat with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to see you, Braulio. I miss
Wonderful.
you in person.
I, I miss you, my friend. I mean, no doubt I can't wait for us to get back to the normal. But in the interim, this is what we have. So, well, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about you and your practice. Can you tell us a little bit about your practice and what area of law do you focus in on?
So my practice is the Ellsley Law Firm. I have been practicing for almost 22 years. I'm a board certified civil trial lawyer. And I've been practicing in Broward County for probably about 15 years. I started my practice in Miami, and then moved up to Krupnick Campbell in Fort Lauderdale. And then about 10 years ago, started a new firm. And then a few years ago, started this firm. We do personal injury, which I've done my entire career, plaintiff side personal injury. And we also do wrongful death and insurance coverage work. Part of our insurance coverage practice is business income loss or business interruption insurance cases, which is obviously a very big thing right now, given what's going on in the world with COVID really forcing closures of many small, medium, and large-sized businesses. And we represent business owners for those cases. So that's basically our practice. But the majority of our work is plaintiff side personal injury. It involves products liability, failed dangerous products. We have premises liability, medical malpractice, nursing home cases, all kinds of things, a lot of car accidents, and vision obstruction cases on roadway. So roadway design, maintenance of traffic issues, landscaping, vision obstruction. That's primarily what I like to focus on in terms of the larger, more complex cases.
The entire gamut, quite a few things there, my friend.
Yeah.
So prior to law, you had another life. Tell us a little bit about your background, education, other jobs.
So I started practicing law. I got my license in 1998. I didn't really have much of an other life. Some people come to law school after a career on Wall Street, or they do other, industries. I actually always knew that I wanted to be a lawyer when I was in, I think, high school and definitely in college. So I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, till I was about 13 years old. My parents got cold, and we moved here to South Florida. And I went to Cooper City High School. I still live in that area. And I went to college and law school at the University of Florida. I enjoyed my time there. I thought Gainesville was great. It was, not big city life at all, very small town. The university was amazing. Obviously, I'm biased, but anyone who has an opportunity to go visit the campus at the University of Florida or, send their kids there, I definitely recommend it. So consider this a big plug for the University of Florida. But, after law school, I started practicing in Miami. And my first job was with a very small plaintiff side personal injury trial law firm. And that's pretty much how I got my start.
So are you a Gator fan or a Buckeye fan?
Well, it's interesting. I'm kind of both. I am definitely a Gator fan. And in fact, when they played in 2006 in the college football championship out in Arizona, I went with some friends, and one of my buddies from college is actually also from Ohio. So we would watch the Ohio State games and the Gator games in college. And then we got the opportunity to watch the two play each other. Obviously, we were Gators fans, and of course, the Gators won.
Sure.
And in 06 and 07 in basketball, they played a couple times, and there was like these rivalries. So it kind of turned into a funny thing. But no, absolutely a Gator fan. My son likes the Buckeyes. I took him to Columbus as part of a baseball park tour. We went to Cleveland and Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and the whole thing. And I showed him Ohio Stadium. He's a Buckeye fan. So he was a Gator fan, then now he's a Buckeye fan. It's kids. But yeah, I mean, I'm a Floridian. I consider myself very tied to this area. I love the weather. I really enjoy the lifestyle. And most importantly for me is it's so multicultural. There's everybody from everywhere. And it just enriches your life in so many different ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's segue a little bit back to your practice. Actually, can you tell us a little bit about a notable or unique case that you've handled, and what were the results?
Okay, so I would say uh, probably the most memorable, and it was a case that I had back in 2009. It started 2008, 2009, finished up in about 2010, 2011. It was a long, long process, but it was a vision obstruction case, and it turned into kind of what my specialty has been. And when I say vision obstruction, I'm talking about roadway vision obstruction, landscaping overgrowth in the medians of the roadways here. So this was on 441 in the Hollywood area near Sterling Road. It was a vision obstruction caused by overgrown landscaping. And it started off as a car accident case. Our clients were, or my client was with his brother on a motor scooter going southbound on 441. It was late at night. The two boys were in their 20s. They lived in Hollywood, but they had just finished their shift at Johnny Rockets at the Hard Rock. And this happened in 2007, in August of 2007. And they were going southbound in their motor scooter, not speeding. And a taxi cab was making a left turn to go into that old bingo parlor that anyone who's been in South Florida for a long time knows that was the first, gambling area before the Hard Rock. But that old time bingo parlor, the cab was making a left turn, and he kind of was making a U-turn at the same time. And anyway, it was a case that involved overgrown landscaping because the cab driver said he could not see over the hedges. And it didn't start out that way. It started off as just a car accident, but then the taxi cab company, their insurance went into receivership, and I had to find another way to go at this case because it was a clear liability on the cab. But his testimony and deposition was I couldn't see over the hedges. And so the hedges were supposed to be 2 feet high, according to Florida Department of Transportation standards. They were 3 feet, 3 inches high. And we were able to do a lot of investigation and a lot of work to determine the hedge height at the time because they were not measured by the police at the time. It was just one photograph. So there's a way that you can do that through engineering and science in terms of measuring fixed objects and making determinations through photographs. So that man had a brain injury, that young man. And because of what we were able to do, I ended up having 10 to 12 defendants in the case, landscaping companies, maintenance companies, the state of Florida, the Seminole Tribe of Florida, et cetera. And we were able to resolve it for a significant amount of money. And I feel really good about that. We still keep in touch with him. The case resolved almost 10 years ago. He has the healthcare that he needs because of that. But I found that I was getting calls after that for these specific cases where there was vision obstructions coming out of shopping centers or along roadways. And I've handled many of them since. I had one a year ago in Oakland Park involving a motorcycle that was kind of going a little bit fast. And the hedge height was not 11 inches over the limit, but only 8. And we were able to resolve that case for the full $6 million policy limits, almost, just a little bit under. But that was a case against the state and the city of Oakland Park and then the landscaping company. And his injuries were, he had spinal surgery and he's doing okay now, but the vision obstructions are serious. So when you ask me that question, those kinds of cases that involve vision obstructions are not the first obvious, defendants when you have a car accident, but typically they have a serious contributing factor. And everyone's been in South Florida where things grow very quickly. And, maintenance requirements for these contracts, it's only twice a month to cut these medians. I think in the summer months, which is when all these accidents happen, they grow much faster. And so the governments really need to maintain those medians better. In the first case that I mentioned, about a year after we resolved it, they completely leveled the entire area and just made it grass. And I think it actually probably prevented a lot of accidents. I mean, I like to think that because you can see now when you're making the left turn. It may not be as pretty or as ornate, But unless you're going to take care of it, unless the city is going to take care of a median landscaping, like Disney World takes care of their stuff, these things are going to grow fast and wide and high, and you can't see. And it's something that's very relatable to a jury. So, yeah,
No,
that's a memorable case, or a few.
it's interesting you said that. I was just talking to my daughter the other night, and she was asking me about, what do lawyers really do? And this is a perfect example. Often lawyers help make things better by going to court and changing the rules, because often legislators don't foresee some of the problems that they legislate themselves. So,
Well, and I think it's a case of when one door closes in a case, like when the insurance company for the taxi cab went into receivership, you have to look around the entire environment to figure out what really happened. And it turns out in that case, the hedges really were the contributing factor. And up until that point, as a lawyer practicing in the car crash kind of world, you're looking at the cars, you're looking at maybe the braking system, you're looking at the maintenance on the cars, or the driver, were they wearing the glasses? But what really is a critical component, I think, in all types of injury cases is the entire environment. And so really, in my practice, in our practice, I think we are different than many, but we go out to the scene right away. We take photographs, we try to canvass and talk to witnesses. You have to kind of use all of your senses in a case, I think, to see, what does it look like? What do you hear out there? That kind of investigation, I think, is very important in creating the facts, because as a trial lawyer, it's our job to show the jury and recreate kind of the scene. And, all the lawyers, we use big boards and we use computer illustrations. And I did that in this case and all of my cases that where we're going to preparing them for trial, because it's important for the jury just to see things. And, the Florida rules of civil procedure allow for a lot of different types of visual aids to be allowed. But, the state of Florida also allows juries to go to a scene. It's called a jury view. So if there's something that they need to really see and feel and be in that area where this event occurred, you petition the court through a motion for a jury view, and everybody goes. And I think those are something that not enough lawyers do, and it's very helpful in certain cases when we get the courts back open.
it's going to be a while, but hopefully sooner than later.
I hope so too. I miss everybody. I miss going, and I miss being able to get into a courtroom and close the door and not have phone calls and things on my head, and just to focus on one case and not have to worry about everything else.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about what really sets your law firm apart from others in the same area of practice.
Well, we are a boutique law firm. We are not a big, huge law firm with thousands and thousands of clients. I like it that way. Most of our work, I would say 90% of our work, comes from other lawyers, many members of the Broward County Bar Association, and lawyers that I've practiced with and against, which is always flattering when you have someone that you've had a case against send you somebody important to them, like a family member. But I think what sets us apart is we are very client oriented and client focused. So the clients all have my cell phone number, and within a couple of hours, or at the latest a day or two, they will get a phone call back either from me or from my staff, but generally from me. I think we are getting close to being really where we need to be technologically wise, tech wise, and kind of ahead of the game. So the ease of access to information for us is very good. But when you have when you're fortunate enough to be able to choose the cases that you want and not have to take everything that walks in the door, I mean, I have the opportunity then to focus on those particular clients who I've chosen to represent, and who I've been very lucky and grateful to have seek me out or be referred to me. So my staff has been with me for every member has been with me almost 10 years. And we have a really good team. We don't have any, real issues with people dropping the ball. I mean, it's really, I'm very, very grateful and thankful for what we have. Um, and, I think that I'm a board certified civil trial lawyer, which is something that distinguishes me from other lawyers. The state of Florida has 101 or 102,000 now licensed lawyers, but there are fewer than 1% of those are board certified in civil trial law. I was also president of the Broward County Trial Lawyers Association in 2011. And I was, I think, co-chair of the trial section of the Broward County Bar Association. And so I've been involved with the community. Most of the judges that are practicing now in the Civil Circuit Division, we don't do much in county court, but in the Civil Circuit Division, I've either, obviously been in front of many times, or I've known them professionally when they were lawyers before they became judges. And so I feel like my roots in the Broward County legal community are strong. I was an equity partner at Crupnick Campbell, which is a very well-known firm here, and got a lot of training and enjoyed my time there. But our practice is really dedicated to a smaller number of clients. Obviously, we help everybody that we can help, and there isn't really like a minimum case value threshold. If I believe in the person, if I really believe in the person, I believe in the case, I'll make it happen, and we'll do it. But we just don't have a high volume, which means that our people can focus on each of these cases.
I can attest to your reputation. I know you're very well respected.
Thank you.
Throughout.
I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Yeah, no, it's no doubt you're highly respected. So
thank you.
You mentioned a little bit about community involvement. So you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, the firm and me, we're involved in some community involvement, obviously with the Broward County Bar Association, a little bit with the Jewish Federation. I was a member of Alpha Epsilon Pi fraternity and in college, and I've been involved with their foundation. Actually, have helped them, here and there on some things. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is I'm a former chief of my daughter's Indian Princess tribe. And so I don't know if you can see that, but that was our camp out when I was the chief. I'm in there somewhere, I think like right there. And we do 3 or 4 campouts. For anybody who's hearing this and doesn't know what the Indian Princess program is, it is amazing. It's about fathers and daughters, ages 5 to 14. It's run through the YMCA. It's been around 100 years. So this is a Weston YMCA that our tribe is with. And we service Cooper City and Weston and Sunrise and Davie. And we are one of 9 tribes in our nation. So anybody listening to this, just call me 954-888-7720 if you have any interest in Indian Princess. This year, I'm actually the Nation Pathfinder, which means that any new fathers and daughters who are interested in the program should talk to me, and I help to place them. So we have a balanced number of dads and daughters in the tribes. But we do art projects. We do monthly meetings at their homes. Obviously, with COVID, that's changed. We do 3 or 4 camping trips a year. We do community service, and it's an opportunity for fathers and daughters to get together. So I'm really involved in that. It's been just incredibly amazing. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm a member of the community. I went to Cooper City High School. I'm a member of Temple Beth Emet Synagogue. My son was just bar mitzvah there last year. Yesterday was the anniversary of his bar mitzvah, so I was looking at the pictures. I mean, what a year. Like, it's so much has changed in just a year. But, and things have slowed down, in all kinds of things with our community, some of the other activities, but hopefully it'll pick back up.
Absolutely. Well, you touched on your daughter, and, I know you have a son, and, I was going to ask you about your passions, and I'm going to guess that part of that will be your children. So tell us about your passion.
I can't stand them. I mean, come on, whatever. They got their own lives. No. If you take this out of context, someone's going to say, he can't stand his kids. No, but it's so true. When you're a father, I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old. My son's 14, my daughter's 11. Your passions really are your kids. I mean, what's interesting is with with COVID, we've spent a lot of time at home, and my daughter, like everybody, has really got into baking, but she really got into it. And she started a little bit of a YouTube channel called Caroline's Creations. So we have all these baking. And so I started with her a little bit doing that and cooking and different kinds of dinners. So I've enjoyed that with them. And she actually got the idea for the YouTube channel from my son, who really got into mountain biking and started repairing bicycles in my garage. He got the lift, he got the whole, not the lift, but the rack, the whatever it is where they fix the bikes, and he's got all the tools. And he has, I don't know, 15 to 20 episodes on YouTube, Nathan's Bikeopedia, if you're interested, for anybody listening. And it just is these little clips that he shows about how to fix certain things on bikes or reviews of different brands. But we have gone mountain biking, around South Florida. We're planning a trip around Lake Okeechobee in December. And so I've done that with them. And, I would coach all the little league stuff that he did. And then he kind of got out of that, and he did tennis for a while and was doing a lot with tennis, actually. But so that's, with my kids. And then personally, I love to exercise and get outside and do things. But one of the things I kind of got into with COVID is, and everybody being at home, is a couple of friends of mine got into a political, social, economic discussion that they created into a podcast. And so there's about 60 to 70 episodes that they've done that are incredible. Once a week, we do a podcast, and I've done 4 or 5 of them. They've invited me. We did a culture series where I got to talk about Hamilton, the musical, and I was a history major, so I loved it. It was fun. But the podcast has been really, really fun. And so, you take an hour on a Sunday or something, and you kind of clear your head of all your legal work, and you set it aside for a minute, and you're not worrying about anything else. And you get to focus on talking about, we were talking about politics and neuroscience and cognitive dissonance and some of these amazing intellectual things. And so, that's one of the passions.
Tell me the name of the iPod.
The podcast.
The podcast
The podcast is called "Call It Like I See It."
Okay.
Call It Like I See It. And the guy who started is actually an intellectual property lawyer named James Keys. And we have another guy on there who's been with him for a long time on things, who's a financial advisor and basically a world citizen. And we just have different perspectives on a lot of different things. We get to just talk about it. So as you can see, it's fun to talk about things,
Yeah, no.
And
I look forward to listening to it. I'm going to go check it out.
It's actually pretty good. He does a good edit. It's about 45 minutes. And, sometimes I listen to it when I'm, working out or whatever, but that's, those are my passions. And then obviously I like to dance and I love music and concerts, but we just haven't been able to do any of that.
Yeah, no doubt. So tell us a little bit about any awards that you've received that you're proud of for your law firm or otherwise.
Well, as you know,
your practice, of course.
Well, yeah. I didn't even know I was nominated, but I was nominated and I received the Joseph J. Carter Professionalism Award from the Broward County Bar Association in 2018. And Joe Carter was a local lawyer here in Broward County who had been a criminal defense lawyer and did a lot of other things, but was just one of the top professional people. And the bar made an award for him. And I received that and got to, talk a little bit about him. And unfortunately, I didn't know Joe, but my partners at Crupton Campbell knew him very well. And I got to learn a little bit more about his life and him. But I was given the Professionalism Award, and I have that is a very important thing for me because I think coming out of law school, my first experience with working was with a firm whose senior partner Bill Hoppy had just narrowly lost the race for the Florida Bar president at that time, and had started about 15 years earlier the Florida Bar Board of Specialization. So he actually started board certification, or was part of the committee that did that. And it just was always, ingrained in me to do the right thing as a lawyer and to make sure that, that you're professional. And anybody listening to this who's a lawyer understands that we are in an adversarial system. That's kind of the way it works. But there's no reason to, fight when you don't have to fight about things that are unnecessary. And you just want to work together as much as you can on things. So I feel like I try to do that every day. I try to mentor younger lawyers when I can. The Broward trial lawyers, we have a listserv of 300 people, and the Broward Bar has a listserv. You contribute to that if you can, or you take someone under their wing. Anytime anybody asks me, I try to help. And that's because I had really strong mentors, I think, as a lawyer. Not only Bill Hoppy and Mark Stokes, but also, Skip Campbell, John Krupnick, Joe Slama, Kelly Hancock, Tom Buser, these guys at my old firm, were really the height of ethical and professional lawyers, and it was just always in me. So I feel very fortunate to have worked with them, and very grateful and thankful about that. And the fact that the entire Broward County Bar Association recognized that, or the committee or whatever, and I got to say a few words, that really meant a lot to me. I brought my kids, and that was a big deal. So I really appreciate that. And my parents were there too.
I happened to be in that room, and
Yeah.
everyone, it was very unanimous. The whole committee, professionalism group, just an exorbitant amount of respect for your ethics and your professionalism. So well deserved.
That means a lot, and it's not for nothing. I mean, really, thank you, because young lawyers coming out of law school, they need to recognize that we're in a profession that is a business, and some people consider it a business first, and I get that. But professionalism is really, it's not just an ideal what we should strive for. It's what you need to be at a base level. And to me, that's the most important thing. And so, yeah, thank you. Coming from you, that means a lot too. Thank you.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. So is there anything else you'd like to let our audience know about you or your firm?
Well, I am doing arbitrations. I forgot to mention that. Broward Arbitrate, BrowardArbitrator.com. That's us. So really, in this reality that we're in right now, arbitration is becoming much more useful, and we are having trouble getting our cases resolved in the civil trial courts. Obviously, there's mediation, which is a great alternative dispute resolution. But I was asked by a colleague to be on an arbitration panel as an arbitrator on a normal run-of-the-mill sort of case. And I am doing arbitrations. BrowardArbitrator.com. Let me know if I can help. I think it's going to get a lot more. We're going to be very busy. Unfortunately, we just can't get to jury trials right now. And I think arbitration is a great alternative.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be later in 2021. I hope
Yeah.
by spring, summer, but
And you know what I miss the most is I miss the after hours, happy hours with you guys. I miss these events. I love seeing you and Lauren and everybody out there who are at these events. I really miss that. I miss, we have a professional family, which you're the papa, right? You're the guy who has gotten it. No, you're the guy who has put things together. Everything that we go to, even if it's not Broward County Bar Association related, you're there with a smile and a hug. And, to me, that is what keeps a lot of people together. And thank goodness we have Zoom and we have FaceTime and we have these things for the Sunday family connection and friends connection. I mean, I had a happy hour with Louis Reinstein, and two of us were sitting in our kitchens last week, and I hadn't seen him in 7 months. And if we were going through this as a world right now without this technology, I mean, that's the thing I'm thankful for, is if we have to do it, at least we have this technology. Yeah. But it's a whole different animal. And but I miss the in-person. I mean, come on, those are fun.
I miss it too, my friend. Big time. Big time. Anyhow, Rick, thank you for taking time. I've enjoyed this. You educated our viewers. Thank you very much, my friend.
I appreciate the opportunity. Anything you need, anytime. And to everyone out there, just stay safe and hang in there.
Absolutely. Ditto on what Rick said. Thank you all for hanging out with us and getting to know Rick Ellsley a little bit. He is reachable via his website. Give your website.
BrowardArbitrator.com or EllsleyLaw.com or SueForYou.com.
Excellent. And Rick is an amazing attorney and just a great human being. So thank you, Rick, and thank you, viewers. Have a wonderful day.